Hello, welcome to this live session Gear Up for Mocks 2025. I am Sudha and I'm an educator. So I'm here to give you a quick overview on the topic of algebra so that you can get worked up for the mocks. Okay, the mocks will be maybe within a month or so. So today we are going to talk about algebra, and I will be scheduling some more live sessions in the coming days, which where I'll be covering some topics. Okay. So my idea for today's session, or is like 1 hour live, is I will go through the main topics which is required for the exam, and also we will work through some of the exam questions because familiarity with the exam questions is pretty important for us to do problems. So initially, maybe the 15-20 minutes, I will be explaining the algebraic concepts which are required. So I would really recommend you to just sit and listen. Okay, no need to take notes, no need to do any writing or anything like that, because this video will be live in the channel. So nothing to worry. You just sit and try to understand what I'm trying to say. Okay. So without further ado, let us start. Okay, perfect. So whenever I start about algebra is a main algebra is the important topic of living cert. Why? Because it's the most important topic of living cert. Why? Because this is related to trigonometry or calculus or financial maths or maybe geometry, coordinate geometry. Any topic you take, it will ultimately land back in algebra. So if you are thorough with this topic, you will be able to learn all the other topics in a much better manner. Okay. So when we think about algebra, there are multiple types of equations. The first one is a linear equation where you have something like 5x plus 3, where there is no indices, there is nothing here, no power here. Okay. So that's called a linear equation. The second one is called a quadratic equation, which is 3x square plus 4. If there is a square here, it becomes a quadratic equation. And then the third one is a cubic equation, which is 4x to the power of 4 plus 3x square plus x cube plus 2 or something like that. So the highest power is 4. Then I'm sorry, it is not 4, it should be 3. The highest power is 4x to the power of 3. If the highest power is 3, it becomes a cubic equation. And then there is one more equation which is quadratic, it is said, but it talks about like x to the power of 4. But this will come only in specific problems, which I will talk about later. For the time being, we are going to focus on linear, quadratic, and cubic equations. This is very important for us to learn. For us for the living cert. Now let's start with the basics. If you have an expression which is like 5x plus 3x, this is very very basic, which we have already learned in living cert. 5x plus 3x, we write it as 8x, which means that if there's a similar variables here, you can add it up and you can write it down. So similarly, if you have a lengthy expression like 5x to the power of 5 plus 3x square plus 4x plus 2x cube plus 4x to the power of 5 plus 5x. So if you have a lengthy expression like this, what you should do is you should see similar ones. So this is similar to this 5x to the power of 5 plus 4x to the power of 5. So that will be 9x to the power of 5 plus, then you see if there is anything with 4, no, power of 4, no. Then you have the power of 3. So I will write this as 2x cube plus, then I have a power of 2, which is 3x square. Then for x, I have 2, so that will become 9x. So this is called like terms. You combine the like terms and then you add up together. Okay, it's a very basic thing which you have to learn. The second thing what you have to learn is if you have an expression like this, 3 into x plus 5, you need to write it as, you can multiply it like this, 3 times x plus 3 times 5. I know some of these are very basic, but it is very important to build up our knowledge based on algebra. So that's why I'm just taking a couple of minutes to explain this. So this will be 3x plus 15. Now, the next part is x plus 2 times x plus 3. Say there are two expressions here to multiply, because I have seen some students who are in leaving cert, whenever they see these kind of things, they make a mistake and they multiply it differently. So here, when you please remember, when you get two expressions like this, you please write this as x times x plus 3 plus you this x times x plus 3. Then as a second step, you take 2 times x plus 3. So you can write it as 2 times x plus 3. And then you simplify this. This will become x square plus 3x plus 2x plus 3. And as I said before, you combine these two things, which will be x square plus 5x plus 3. Okay. Let me do one more so that it becomes easier. X plus 5 into x square plus 3x plus 4. When there are multiple terms here, what I will do, first I will take x times x square plus 3x plus 4 plus 5 times x square plus 3x plus 4, and then simplify it. Okay, pretty easy one, simplified. Now the next one is x plus 5 the whole square. So whenever you get something as a whole square, what you do, you write it 2 times x plus 5 times x plus 5 and then simplify as before. Okay. This will happen if it is something like 2x plus 3 the whole square. That also will be 2x plus 3 times 2x plus 3. And then you write it in the previous format like 2x into 2x plus 3 plus 3 times 2x plus 3, and then simplify this. This will become 4x square plus 6x plus 6x plus 9, and combine these two, which will be 4x square plus 12x plus 9. No need to worry about all these. This is just so that I want to bring it to conclusion. That is why I wrote it like this. Okay. So only thing what you need to remember is whenever there is a square here, you will write it 2 times and then simplify. Okay. Again, it's a very basic thing, but very important concept which is required. Now there is, okay, this is simplification. So I'm just trying to look at my notes so that I don't forget any topics. Okay, second thing what we need to learn is factorization. So factorization means, suppose if I say 10 as a number, and I can say that 2 and 5 are its factors. So why I say that? Because 2 multiplied by 5 is 10. Okay. Similarly, when it comes to algebra, 3x plus 15, I can write this as 3 times x plus 5. Okay, so these are called factorized. This is called factorization. So there are multiple types of questions which you need to learn. The main thing is the first one is this one, finding the highest common factor. For example, if there is another question, 3x square minus 9xy, what is common here? 3 is common, x is common. So I just take 3x outside. So taking it outside means what I'm going to do, I'm going to divide this by 3x. I'm going to divide this also by 3x. So the first term will become x, and the second term will become minus 3y. Okay. So now to see whether this factorization is correct, what you can do, you can just simply multiply this and see whether you are getting the correct answer. Because simplification is something which we are comfortable with. So you try to multiply and then you get 3x square minus 9xy. So we are getting the correct answer. Okay. So this is how we check whether the factorization is correct. Now the second type of factorization, what you have to do is called difference of perfect square. So that is when you have something like x square minus y square. There are two numbers with a square. Okay, that's called difference of perfect squares. What is the factorization for this? This is x minus y and x plus y. Please note that this is not in the formula book and you have to remember this. Okay, x square minus y square is equal to x minus y, x plus y. So some questions on this x square minus 25 can be written as x square minus 5 square, and this will become x minus 5, x plus 5. Okay. 9x square minus 36y square. Okay, so whenever you see two squares like this, you remember it is difference of perfect square, and then you can simplify this as 3x square minus 6y square, that's equal to 3x minus 6y and 3x plus 6y. Okay, this is a difference of perfect squares. This is a different type of factorization. Now, again, another type of factorization is with the expression x cube minus y cube. Pretty important for leaving cert, because this was junior cert topic which we had to always remember. But this is a leaving cert topic and you will get questions on this. Okay, so if you get something like x cube minus y cube, the formula is x minus y x square plus xy plus y square. This is a formula. This is an identity. You have to memorize this. This is not in formula book. This is not any places. This you have to memorize. If you get an expression like this, you will have to simplify this. So it's easy actually. If there is a minus here, um, the first term is x minus y. The same negative sign will come over here, and then there is x square, and then you multiply the both the terms, and then there is a y square. So if you see the pattern, it will be very easy for you to memorize it. Okay, and still if you are not able to memorize, just write it down 5 times or 10 times. Okay, you will get it. Okay, you have to learn this. The next one is x cube plus y cube. So that is x plus y times x square minus xy plus y square. So okay, if you learn these two patterns, if you understand if you understand the pattern and if you learn this off, you will be able to do certain questions. I'll show you one example of this. Okay, a cube plus 8b cube. So whenever I see it is a cube, I know that this is the one which I have to, this identity is the one which I have to use. So what I will do is like I'm going to rewrite this as a cube plus 2b cube, because 2 cube is equal to 8. Okay. And then since it is an addition, you can use the second one. So I will write this as a plus 2b a square minus a times 2b plus 2b square. Then I can simplify this as a plus 2b a square minus 2ab plus 4b square. Okay. So this is how you do the factorization for the cubic one. Now there's one more small variation of this, where not for the cubic one, for the perfect square one. So if you have something like 3x square minus 27y square. Okay, if you get a question like this, 3x square minus 27y square. Now, because it is a square and there are two terms, I know that this is difference of perfect squares. Okay, but when I see this, 3 is not a perfect square, 27 is not a perfect square. Okay, then how will I factorize? So what I have to do, I have to first take a common factor outside, which is 3 in this case, and 3, I can write this as x square minus 9y square. And then that can be simplified as 3 times x minus 3y square, which is equal to 3 times x minus 3y, x plus 3y. Okay, so the tip is, as and when you see the perfect squares, you see whether this is a perfect square or not. It is, since it is not, you have to take a common factor outside and then simplify it. Okay, now what are perfect squares? Perfect squares are numbers which are square of different numbers. So 1 is 1, 2 is 4, 3 is 9, 4 is 16, 5 is 25. It goes on like this. So these are perfect squares. Okay, remember 1 is also a perfect square. So which means that if I give x square minus 1, I can write this as x square minus 1 square, and then you can write this as x minus 1, x plus 1. Okay, same applies to the cubic equation. If I write x cube minus 1, Immediately you need to remember that it is x cube minus 1 cube, and then you can write it as x minus 1. Then you apply the formula which you would have memorized by then, x square plus x plus 1. Okay, so remember, 1 can be written as 1 square or 1 can be written as 1 cube, etc. Okay, perfect for this. So we learned factorization also. Now we are moving on to the third topic, algebraic fractions. So whenever you hear about the word fractions, you should think cross multiplication. Some of you would have learned with a different method. Whenever you see a fraction, you might like do it making the denominator as the same. That's also fine. If you're working with that option, please stick on to that. Don't change it now. My method is cross multiplication, and um, if you want, like if you don't know the previous method and if you want to stick on to this cross multiplication, there is a video in my channel which talks only about cross multiplication. So if you just go and search, you will get it. It will talk about different scenarios of cross multiplication, which are fraction you can apply and how you can apply that. So please have a look into that. Okay, so here algebraic fractions means if I have some two fractions like x by 5 plus x by 3. So my method is you have to cross multiply this times this and this times this, which is equal to 3x plus 5x, and the denominator will be this times this. So 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, and then you can simplify this as 8x by 15. Any fraction will you can work with this x plus 2 by 3 plus x plus 3 by 5. Method is cross multiply this side and this side and this side. So it works with 5 times x plus 2 plus 3 times x plus 3 divided by 15, which is equal to 5x plus 10 plus 3x plus 9 divided by 15. And then add the like terms, which is 8x plus 19 divided by 15. So any kind of fractions you will be able to simplify with respect to this. So let me take a difficult one, because you are going to get such questions for your living cert. So let me take this one, x minus 1 by x divided by 1 plus 1 by x. Okay, so I see that there is a fraction here, but there's no fraction in the first one. Okay, so what I can do is I can simply put a 1 over here so that it becomes a fraction. So I'm going to simplify this numerator now, and that again cross multiplication, which is this and this. So it will be x square minus 1 divided by x divided by, I'm going to do the denominator now. Again, the same process applies, x plus 1 divided by x. Okay. Now what I can do is I can write this as x square minus 1 divided by x divided by, I'm going to write it with a division sign, x plus 1 divided by x. Okay. Now remember, the fraction, whenever there is a division, you need to multiply it with the reciprocal. So that is x square minus 1 divided by x multiplied by x divided by x plus 1. So I just twisted the fraction. Now I can cancel this off, and that is x square minus 1 divided by x plus 1. Now if you look at the numerator, you can see that it is difference of perfect squares. So then I can do it as x minus 1, x plus 1 divided by x plus 1. And then answer will be x minus 1. Okay. So this is how we simplify the fraction. It's always cross multiplication, and then you simplify it further by factorization. Okay. If you want to try out some questions like this, you have it in text and test for any textbook which you have. You please look into the fraction, algebraic fraction side. You will find such questions, and it is pretty easy to master it. Okay. Now moving on to the next topic. Okay. Moving on to the next topic of algebraic identities. So what we call as identities is whenever you say x plus y the whole square is equal to, okay, suppose if this is, I'm expanding it, x plus y times x plus y, and I simplify this as x square plus 2xy plus y square. Okay, so which means that identity, it means if I'm putting something on an equal sign, I can say that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side. Okay, now again, if I have something like 4x square plus 3x square, sorry, 4x square plus 3x plus 5 is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. Suppose I'm writing an equation like this. Here, I can see that there is an expression for x square here, there is an expression for x square here. So what I can do here is I can combine these two. I can say that both are equal. So I'm saying x square. I can say that 4 is equal to a. What I'm doing? I'm just combining 4x square is equal to ax square. Okay. And x square is the same on both the sides. So I get 4 is equal to a. That is what I'm doing. Now, how will I write it for x? 3 is equal to b. Okay. And now what is remaining? This portion is remaining, and that is called constant. So when it comes to constant, you write it as 5 is equal to c. Okay. So this is the concept of identities. Whenever you have something on the left hand side and something on the right hand side, you can combine it. You can say that the left hand side is equal to the right hand side as per the power, like x square and x square. Okay. I'll give you one more example. X cube 3, sorry, not 3x cube, like 5x cube plus 4x square plus 2x plus 7 is equal to ax cube plus bx square plus cx plus d. A cubic expression. I'm taking a cubic expression. So when you take a cubic expression, first what you will do, you are equating the coefficient of x cube. So that is 5 is equal to a. Then you're equating the coefficient of x square, it will be 4 equal to b, and then x 2 is equal to c, and constant 7 is equal to d. Okay, so this is the concept of algebraic identities. Now, this will be helpful in some of the exam questions which I'll be showing in some time, where they give an expression on the left hand side and they give an expression on the right hand side, and they will ask us to find any variables. Okay, we have a question on that, so we will come back to this. Now, moving on to the next topic. Okay. Solving equations. So we have learned solving equations in junior cert, okay, where you have something like 5x minus 3 is equal to 32. Okay, some linear equation, very common linear equation. So what you do, you keep all the x to the left side, 5x, and bring all the numbers to the right hand side. So this will be equal to 32 plus 3. So 5x is equal to 35. And then you divide by 5 so that you can isolate x. So x is equal to 7. Very simple form of linear equation. Okay, but what will you do if you have a little complicated one? So 3x minus 1 divided by 4 is equal to 8. Solve. Solve means, always remember, solve means find the value of x. So if it is a question like this, again, it is an algebraic fraction. So you just put 1 where it is not available and then do a cross multiplication. Cross multiplication, again, this side by this side, and the denominator has to be multiplied. So this will be 3x minus 1 is equal to 4 times 8. So 3x minus 1 is equal to 32. 3x is equal to 32 plus 1. 3x is equal to 33 divide by 3, divide by 3, and x is equal to 11. Okay, solving an equation is pretty important, and you will get multiple instances where you have to solve an equation. So I'm going to take another one, a little more complex one. So 3y minus 12 divided by 5 plus 3 is equal to 3 times y minus 5 divided by 2. Again, it's an algebraic fraction. So which means you have to do cross multiplication. So I'll put a 1 over here and then do a cross multiplication over this. Okay. So here it becomes 3y minus 12 plus 5 times 3 divided by, or 3y minus 1 divided multiplied by 1. Okay. Divided by 5 is equal to 3 times y minus 5 over 2. Simplifying this, I will get 3y minus 12 plus 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3y minus 15 divided by 2. Okay. Again, I am simplifying this because I have two like numbers here which I can add it together. So 3y plus 3 over 5 is equal to 3y minus 15 over 2. Now again, this is an algebraic fraction. So you can cross multiply. So that is 2 times 3y plus 3 is equal to 5 times 3y minus 15 divided by 10. Sorry, not divided by 10. Whenever you have two fractions on opposite side, you don't need a denominator. You can just cross multiply and leave it like that. Okay, remember, whenever there is two fractions, no remainder. No denominator. Now again, I'm simplifying this, which will be 6y plus 6 is equal to 15y minus 5. 5 is 25, 75. And then you get this as a linear equation, which you can ultimately solve. Solving a linear equation is something which we know. So you just simplify this and solve it for y. Okay. So here the main idea is linear equations. The fractions which have to be simplified with cross multiplication. Okay. Then another thing which you have to learn is, I'm not going to explain it today, but it is simultaneous equations. So three simultaneous equations. Okay, I'm not going to explain it today because it will take a good amount of time, but please learn this off because there will be a question there every time, every year they ask this question. They will give you three simultaneous equation which you need to solve. So for that, you need to practice it. You need to work with exam questions or not, or maybe from the question from the textbook also will be enough. If you don't know, please put it in the chat. Okay, I can create a video. I don't have a video currently about simultaneous equation, but if you don't know, please put it. I will create one video. Okay, one more thing I forgot to mention, that whatever I explained here, I have separate videos on all of these topics in my channel, and they have a living certificate playlist. So living certificate algebra, living certificate geometry, etc. So if you want to learn more of that, you can just go back and refer to those videos. Okay, so please learn three simultaneous equations. Now we are going to move on to quadratics. Okay, so this is algebra 2. So till now we were working on algebra 1. Now it is algebra 2. So algebra 2, we are going to work on quadratic equations. Okay, so quadratic equations, example can be x square plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. Okay, it's an quadratic equation. Now, how will you factorize a quadratic equation? X square plus 5x plus 6. There are two methods. You can either use the box method. Some of you might have learned it. But the method which I am going to discuss here is the method where you will work on, you take this last number 6 and you write the factors of 6, 1 and 6, 2 and 3, and see which combination of these factors added up will give you 5. So here I know that it is 2 and 3. Sorry. Here I know it is 2 and 3. So I can write this as x plus 2, x plus 3. Okay. Now, there's another one. Like, for example, if I have y square minus 5y is equal to 0, how will you factorize this? What I can do is a common term is y. So I can take it as y bracket y minus 5 is equal to 0. And whenever I write like this, I have two terms here, this and this. So what I will do is I can write this y is equal to 0, or I can write this y minus 5 is equal to 0. So this will become y is equal to 0 only. This will become y is equal to 5, because 5 we will take it this side. Okay. Solving a quadratic is very, very important, because you will get a lot of questions out of this, where you, while the final answer, you have to solve a quadratic and get the equation. Okay. So 4t square minus 100 is equal to 0. So here 4t square is equal to 100. Then t square is equal to 100 over 4. That is equal to 25. So t square is equal to 25. And then t is equal to square root of 25. And now this is where you have to remember, whenever you take a square root, it should be plus or minus 5. Okay. That is one important thing which you have to learn. Now for solving a quadratic, the second method you have is minus b formula. It is there on page 20 of your formula book. So whenever we are not able to solve it using factorization or something, you just go to the minus b formula link, get the minus b formula, and then solve it off. Minus b square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a. I hope all of you know how to solve this. So the main tip what I can give you here is, you start with factorizing. Just look at it for 1 minute. Okay, just 1 minute. If you're not able to factorize, directly go with minus b formula and find the factors. Because don't waste more time than 1 minute factorizing a quadratic equation in this method. Which method? Okay, in this method. Okay, never waste time over there. Time is very precious during your final exam. So please work on minus b formula and try to understand. Again, here there is another pattern of questions which will be asked. It is like repeating ones. Okay. For example, if the question is something like x plus 1 the whole square plus 3 into x plus 1 minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay. This is to solve it for x. So whenever you see this question, immediately the initial impression will be to expand this one. Okay, you will think, okay, let me expand this, then let me expand this, and then I might solve it. Okay, but no. Whenever you see a repeating pattern means x plus 1, x plus 1. Okay, you are seeing a repeating pattern. So in that time, you go for substitution. You go for substitution. How do you substitute? You take a different variable and put it. So I will substitute y is equal to x plus 1. Let y is equal to x plus 1. Now how I can write the previous equation? I can write it as y square plus 3y minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay. Then I can factorize this. I can factorize this as y minus no, you cannot get a factor here. You will have to solve this using minus b formula. Find the value of y. Minus b formula. Find y. And then substitute back to y is equal to x plus 1. Okay. And find the value of x. So always remember, whenever you have a repeating pattern, you will use substitution. I'll show you another example question here. 2t minus 5 over t the whole square minus 12 into 2t minus 5 by t plus 27 is equal to 0. Okay. So for this question, this is a repeating pattern here. And you can substitute it as y is equal to 2t minus 5 over t. And then this will become y square minus 12y plus 27 is equal to 0. And then you will be able to get it. Now, the next thing what you have to remember here is the nature of the quadratic roots. This is a very, very important topic, nature of a quadratic root. This all will work with b square minus 4ac. This is called the discriminant. Okay. This is the part where minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac by 2a, minus b formula. Inside the minus b formula, you have this part. Okay. So that is called the discriminant. Now, the nature of the root is dependent on this. So, what are the four conditions, or maybe three conditions to be precise? B square minus 4ac is greater than 0. Please learn this off. Okay, this is there. This will be there in your textbook. So, please learn this off. B square minus 4ac is greater than 0. Two different real roots. Okay, b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. Two equal real roots. Okay, we have questions on this. Okay, I will show you questions on this, exam questions on this. B square minus 4ac less than 0, imaginary root. And this will go to the complex numbers. Okay, and b square minus 4ac is a perfect square. It's rational roots. Okay, so I would say memorize all of these. Okay, memorize all of this. So real roots, it should be greater than or equal to 0. Imaginary root will be less than 0, and perfect square, it is a rational root. Okay, so mostly the questions will be real or imaginary. Remember, for real, it is greater than or equal to 0. Okay, maybe I'll write it a little more neatly. Sorry. For real roots, b square minus 4ac is greater than or equal to 0. So this is what you have to remember. Okay, we have questions on this. We will work on these questions. Now, the next part is, how will you solve a quadratic and a linear equation? Linear and quadratic. Okay, if you attend today's class and then you go back to your exam questions, maybe you are checking study clicks or anything like that, go to exam questions, you will see multiple questions out of today's sections. Okay, so you will be familiar with those topic, and then it is up to you to just learn it off. So that is the purpose of this. Okay, so this class, I'm just going to give you a high level overview about a specific topic so that you don't need to sit and revise for longer hours. Now you're getting a revision, and then you go back, you study those topic, and you will be able to excel in your mock exam. Okay, so linear and quadratic, how will you solve it? Suppose if I have an equation, I have a simultaneous equation, x plus y is equal to 7, x square plus y square is equal to 25. Okay, whenever you see this, you have to remember this is a linear equation and this is a quadratic equation. So whenever you get such kind of simultaneous equation, what you do, you take the linear equation, x plus y is equal to 7, and isolate one variable, like x is equal to 7 minus y. Okay, and then you sub in it to the second variable, second equation. So that is, instead of x, you put 7 minus y. So that is 7 minus y the whole square plus y square is equal to 25. Then you can simplify this. 7 minus y the whole square will be 49 minus 14y plus y square is equal to 25. Okay, don't worry about this expansion. Okay, when you're doing it alone, you will be able to do it. I'm just doing it a bit faster so that we can cover many topics. And 2y square is equal to 25. And then I simplify it and write it as 2y square minus 14y plus 49 minus 25 is equal to 0. Now, this is a quadratic equation which you can solve using minus b formula or factorizing or whatever the case may be. Okay. So when this is the criteria is, the tip is, whenever you see a linear and a quadratic equation, what you do, you find one variable out of the linear equation and sub it into the quadratic equation, and then you will be able to do it. Another question, x square plus 4y square is equal to 4. x plus 2y minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so this is a quadratic, this is a linear. So you take x is equal to 2 minus 2y and then sub it into the quadratic equation. So it is, instead of x, you write 2 minus 2y the whole square plus 4y square is equal to 4. And then simplify this and then you will be able to solve it. Okay, the last topic is surds. So for surds, it is square root of 3, square root of 5, etc. Let's work with the surds. Now here you have some rules, like for example, if I have 2 root 3 plus 3 root 3, it will be 5 root 3. It works just like algebra. Okay, but if I have root 3 times root 3, it will be root 3 square, which is equal to 3. So whenever you multiply two surds, you will get the number which is inside. Okay, so these are some of the rules. Okay, and there is, if I say that it is square root of 3 times 5, it can be written as square root of 3 times square root of 5. Square root of 10 divided by 7 can be written as square root of 10 divided by square root of 7. Very, very simple ones. Okay, the main thing what you have to learn is, like, if I have something like 1 by 3 minus root 2, okay, there is a fraction, this is a third, there's a fraction. How will you simplify this? What you do is you multiply it with the conjugate, like 3 plus root 2. Okay, so you conjugate means, you, if you have a minus sign here, you put a plus sign over there. Okay, and the same you multiply it on the numerator also, 3 plus root 2. Okay, you might be familiar with all of this. So then you simplify this, the root, the surd from the denominator will be eliminated. Okay, so this is how you rationalize the surd. Now here, okay, another exam question is, how will you solve this equation? Okay, let me get a sample question. Square root of 2x plus 1 is equal to 3. Okay, this is a mandatory exam question. I have seen these questions coming up again and again. So square root of 2x plus 1 is equal to 3. So whenever there is a square root, you remember square it. Square both sides. So this is the keyword, okay? Square both sides. So then what you will do, 2x plus 1 the whole square is equal to 3 square. And the left hand side will be 2x plus 1 is equal to 9. So 2x is equal to 9 minus 1. Again, another linear equation. So x is equal to 4. So remember, whenever you see a square root, whenever you see a surd, you have to square it. Square both the sides. Okay. Another question, 2x plus 5 is equal to x plus 1. You see a square root, square it. So left hand side will become 2x plus 5 the whole square is equal to x plus 1 the whole square. Then 2x plus 5 is equal to x plus 1 the whole square. Simplify it, solve it. Simplify and solve it. This is for the surds. Okay. The last one, factor theorem. Okay, let's take a quadratic equation. X square plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. Now, if I factorize it, I can write this as x plus 3, x plus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, so these two are called factors of this quadratic equation. Now, further refining this, I can write this as x plus 3 is equal to 0, x plus 2 is equal to 0, and I can say that this x is equal to minus 3 and x is equal to minus 2. These two are called roots. Okay, always remember. So for this quadratic equation, there are factors which is like x plus 3, x plus 2, and then the other one, the minus 3. Whenever you find the values of x, which is like minus 3 and minus 2, that are called roots of the equation. Okay, so you need to remember this. Now with this root, what are we going to do? What are called roots? Okay, why they are called roots? Because let's take x is equal to minus 3. Okay, if you sub this value into this quadratic, you should get 0. Let's try. So x square plus 5x plus 6 is equal to 0. I'm going to write this as minus 3 square plus 5 into 3 minus 3 plus 6 is equal to 0. So which is like 9 minus 15 plus 6 is equal to 0. So 15 minus 15 which is equal to 0. Okay. So if you have a roots of an equation, if you sub it into the quadratic, you will get it as 0. That is a criteria. Okay. The same is with the cubic expression also. If you have a cubic expression, if you sub in the factors, you will get it as 0. Okay. Now there is another pattern. So suppose they will say that, okay, if x square plus 5x plus 6 is a quadratic equation and x minus 3 is a factor. Okay. They will ask you to find the other factor. Now what you should do, you can just simply divide this. So x square plus 5x plus 6 divided by x minus 3. You do a long division. I hope you all know that. You do a long division and you will get the answer. Okay. So this is how you find a factor and you find all the other factors. Okay. There is one more thing. Last one before we go into the exam question. If it is a quadratic, it will have two factors. Both are linear. If it is a cubic, it can have multiple option. It can have a linear and a linear factor, or it can have a linear and a quadratic as a factor. Okay, you need to remember this, because when they give the question, you will be able to figure out whether it is if it is a cubic, you will have all these factors in place. Now let's move into exam questions and see how we will be able to handle such questions. Okay, so first one. So I'll give you 1 minute just to quickly read this question so that you will be with me when I'm solving this equation. Okay, so what I have here is a function fx is a cubic function. Show that x minus 2 is a factor of f of x. So if x minus 2 is a factor, what you should do? X is equal to 2 is a root. Yeah. And then I can sub it into this function, which is like 2 times 2 cube minus 2 square plus 2 times 2 minus 16. That is equal to 16 minus 4 plus 4 minus 16, which is equal to 0. And hence it is a factor. Okay. See, one question. I think this holds 5 marks. And we are able to do it within a minute. Okay. So we are getting 5 marks over there. Okay. Next question. Given, okay, it's a continuation of this. Okay. F of x is equal to x minus 2 into 2x square plus bx plus c. These are exam questions. These are proper exam questions which I have taken from the paper. So f of x is equal to x minus 2 into 2x square plus bx plus c. Find the value of b and c. Okay, let's see this. So here it is, they are saying that f of x is 2x cube minus x square plus 2x minus 16. I'm just going to scroll it a bit, is equal to x minus 2 times 2x square plus bx plus c. Now I simplify this. So what I'm going to simplify is going to be the right hand side first because it has brackets. So what I will do is I will simplify this as 2x cube plus bx square plus cx minus 4x square minus 2bx minus 2c. I simplify the right hand side and I'm going to write the left hand side also. 2x minus 16, and then I equate both the terms. Yeah, both the terms of x cube. I equate the terms of x cube, which is 2 is equal to 2, which doesn't make sense for us. Then x square will be minus 1 is equal to, so x square term is here on the left hand side. Here you have this and this. So I will write that as minus 1 is equal to b minus 4. And then I equate the x term, which is 2x and cx and this one. So I will write this as 2 is equal to c minus 2b. Okay. Am I correct? Yeah. And then constant, it is minus 16 is equal to minus 2c. Okay. And you can solve these equation, the 1, 2 and 3, to find the value of C and B. It is just normal simultaneous equation or linear equation solution. Okay. Um, so these are identities, algebraic identities. Okay, please remember that. Now see here another question. Write the following expression as a single fraction. Again, cross multiplying. So if it is a fraction, it is cross multiplying. So it is 4 times 12t minus 7 times 2t plus 1 divided by 2t plus 1 times 12t, and then you simplify this further. So again, another 5 marks here. Okay. Next one, factorize. Okay. So I put this question specifically because we learned factorization of quadratic, factorization of cubic expression, but not the factorization of expression with the power of 4. Okay. So that's why I put this. What will you do when you have power of 4? So as I said, we need to learn only about quadratic and cubic for living set. Yeah. So 4, it shouldn't be. So then you should immediately remember that you can factorize this. Okay, you see common factor and then take the factor out. So the factors might be 2x. Okay, 2x is the factor, and this will be 8x cube minus, and this I know for sure that it is 343. Okay, so and then I can simplify this. Now this is a cubic one which we know how to factorize. So it is 8x cube minus 7 cube, and then that is equal to 2x into 2x cube minus 7 cube, and this is a cubic factor, so it is 2x minus 7, and then 4x square minus 7 14 and 28 x plus sorry, this will be plus, and 7 square will be 49. Okay, so this is that formula for x cube minus y cube. So if you remember that, you will be able to do this question. Okay. Now, okay, rational. I'm just going to skip this as of now because I have only 5 minutes. Okay, look at this question. The equation, this one, where p is a positive constant, has equal roots. Okay, find the value of p. So here the keyword is equal roots. So whenever you see this keyword, you should remember what is it? B square minus 4ac is equal to 0. Now it's just a matter of finding the values of b square minus 4ac and then putting it. So what is the expression? Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So our expression here is x square plus 2px plus 3p plus 4 is equal to 0. So whenever you get a question like this, it is easy. It is easy for us. It is easy for our mind also just to write it. A is equal to 1. Okay. How are we getting it? A is this one, B is this one, C is this one. Okay, so A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2P, C is equal to 3P plus 4. Okay, now once you have written down this, it is pretty easy to work with B square minus 4AC, which is equal to 2P square minus 4 times 1 times 3P plus 4. Okay, remember you should write as much as possible for your exam, because if you see the marking scheme, they have said that any correct substitution or anything which you have written will guarantee some marks for you. Okay, so not, if not full marks, you will get some marks. So you have to write whatever possible, you have to write within the answer sheet, so that the examiner can give you some marks. Okay, and now simplifying this, it will be 4p square minus 12p plus 16 is equal to 0. Okay, b square minus 4ac is equal to 0. So then this I can simplify this as p square minus 3p plus 4 is equal to 0. As I said, don't worry about the simplifications. Once you do it on your own, you will get it. This is just to have a high level idea on what need to be done. And this is p minus p minus 4 and p plus 1 is equal to 0. So p is equal to 4, p is equal to minus 1. So we are getting two values here. Okay. Now just let us go back to the question And here it says that P is a positive constant. Okay, that is an important point. So we got two values, P is equal to 4, P is equal to -1. So which one will you take? You should take P is equal to 4. So this you have to write it down in your answer paper. So P is 4 is the answer, is the answer because positive, because the value is positive. Okay, you have to write it down explicitly. This has 1 mark. Okay, if you don't write this, you will lose 1 mark. But if you write an explanation that this is the answer which you choose, you will get the full marks. Okay, so these are small tips which you can improve upon. Okay, another question. I'm neglecting some of the question because I'm running short of time. Okay, n minus 3 is equal to root of 3n plus 1. So what is the first thing which you should remember whenever you see a square root? You have to square it. Okay, so squaring both sides, n minus 3 the whole square is equal to 3n plus 1 square root of square. So n minus 3 the whole square is equal to 3n plus 1. So n square minus 6n plus 9 is equal to 3n plus 1, and then simplified n square minus 9n plus 8 is equal to 0. N minus 8, n minus 1 is equal to 0, n is equal to 8, n is equal to 1. Okay. Now here, there is only one solution. Okay. How will you neglect the solution? How will you eliminate one solution? Because from here, because it's a square root, you can say that if n is equal to 1, what will be the square root here? Okay. See, if you substitute it back to this, so what you have to do is like n is equal to 8, n is equal to 1. So let me just try substituting for 1. So 1 minus 3 is equal to square root of 3 plus 1. So minus 2 is equal to square root of 4. So this is wrong. Yeah. So the answer is n is equal to 8. So you have to substitute it back and find out the value which is relevant. Okay. Okay. So that's all what I have. But I have some other question. Okay, one more question. I will just quickly go through it. Explain why the following in X has no real solution. So what do you mean by no real solution? No real solution means b square minus 4ac is less than 0. Okay, so you simplify this. How do you find b square minus 4ac? Because first you have to simplify this. 2x plus 3 the whole square plus 7 is equal to 0. This will be 4x square plus 2 into 2 4, 4 3 so 12, 12x plus 9 plus 7 is equal to 0. So you make it as a quadratic. 4x square plus 12x plus 16 is equal to 0. You can even simplify this. 2x square plus 6x plus 8 is equal to, oh, again you can simplify it as x square plus 3x plus 4 is equal to 0. This can be ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, and then write a, b and c, and then find b square minus 4ac. Okay, and then see whether it is less than 0. And if that is the case, you substitute the values and you will see whether it is less than 0. If less than 0, it is no real solution. Okay, so remember, if you just learn that b square minus 4ac, you will be able to do these things. If you learn the x cube minus y cube, you will be able to handle certain questions. If you learn algebraic fractions, you will be able to solve such questions. So whatever I have taught today will give you at least some buffer onto the algebraic topics. So what I have done is algebra 1 and 2, covered 1 and 2 today. And there is algebra 3 where you will be working on indices, logs, and all these things. So we will try to cover that in another session. But I would really like your feedback on how you felt this session, whether you want anything else from my side on the next session. So please let me know. If you can put it in the chat, well and good. Or if you want to send me a message, I don't know how you will send me a message, but if you can put it in the chat, it'll be good. And only then I can plan for the next session. Okay. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this was helpful to revise the topics. So study well for your mocks. Practice some maths questions. Practice is very important. So please try to do some practice every day for the mocks. And if you need to come back to me, please come back to me. I think my email address is not okay, it's not updated in the YouTube, but I will put my email address over there. So if you have anything, please come back to me. But I really request, please give me your feedback of today's session in the chat box now itself, so that I can plan for the next session and I will let you know. Hopefully, it should be next week, but please let me know. I can plan for all the sessions. So, request everyone to put the feedback. Thank you so much and have a nice evening. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any other feedback? Thanks. Thank you so much. I'm just going to end the stream. If you have any feedback, I'll wait for 1 more minute. Okay, thank you so much. So I just need to end this live stream now. If you have anything, any queries related to Max, please send me an email in enrich.iog@gmail.com. Thank you so much for joining. I'll see you in the next stream. So I think for information on the next stream, you might have to um, subscribe to this channel or maybe put a notification on. I'm not very sure how that works. So please do that so that whenever I schedule the next live stream, you will get a notification. Okay. Thank you so much. So see you and bye bye.